Welcome to the deep dive. We have a truly extraordinary stack of source material today, detailing a near-future world that, well, it looks perfectly safe on the surface, but it's just rotting underneath with paranoia, greed, and a really shocking technological confidence trick.
That's absolutely right. We are diving into a world where all the great geopolitical wars have supposedly been resolved.
Right, the big ones are over.
They're over. Rogue states are eliminated, and the entire planet is electronically monitored, safe from any external threat. The logical question then becomes, what threat is left?
And our sources suggest it's the one you'd least expect. The former global allies, the United States and the Eurozone, they turn their advanced technological might
Against each other.
exactly against each other. And it sets the stage for this new kind of global conflict. It's a battle fueled by, well, technological supremacy, financial ambition, and this manufactured time travel intervention that's designed to reshape global power completely.
Our mission today is complex. We are unraveling a deeply multi-layered conspiracy. The material we have is just. It ranges from a seemingly hyper-real historical excursion in 1040 AD all the way to the horrifying realities of remotely controlled robot warfare.
And it all converges on one thing.
One non-negotiable price for global security. But the true stakes here, they're not territory, they're not resources. It's total, untraceable financial control over every single transaction that matters.
And for you, the learner, this deep dive offers a really critical perspective on the modern reality of information overload. In this world, every syllable is logged, every electronic transaction is tracked through these incredibly sophisticated systems, and yet the biggest, most ambitious conspiracy is hidden in plain sight.
It's the ultimate paradox.
It is. It brilliantly demonstrates that the sheer volume and, the saturation of data is itself the ultimate security risk. Okay, so let's unpack the state of this supposedly safe, monitored world first.
So the setting is everything here. We're in the early 21st century.
And it's a time that's characterized by this technological peace, right?
Exactly. The secret services are lauded for keeping the planet electronically monitored, safe from all threat. It sounds idyllic, doesn't it?
It sounds great on paper.
It does. But it's a high surveillance environment, and it's built on this deep distrust.
And these surveillance systems, they underpin everything, especially commerce.
Everything. Currency exchange runs entirely on the IFSC card system. That means every dollar, euro, or pound movement is registered digitally. There's a log for everything.
But then you see these strange social fissures that emerge in this hyper-digital society. Our sources detail this bizarre technological contradiction about printed books and comics are thriving.
They're the ultimate analog safe harbor.
Why, though?
They thrive precisely because they are the only popular form of entertainment that's not easily pirated. Everything else, like these theater or opera rooms.
So virtual reality performances.
Yeah, exactly. They can be covertly recorded and disseminated almost instantly. The physical ink-on-paper medium becomes the luxury good because it's resistant to that digital theft.
And the response to piracy is, it's telling.
Yeah.
When giant corporations deal with illegal distribution, they don't just send cease and desist letters.
No, not at all. They do one of two things. They either factor the cost of piracy into their margins, just accept it as a loss, or if the pirate operation is big enough, they arrange for a pinpoint smart missile strike on the pirate factories.
Wow.
Yeah. It illustrates a society where casual, precise technological violence is an accepted cost of doing business.
It's the normalization of the extreme.
It absolutely is. And we see this normalization extend into social policy, particularly within the Eurozone. You mentioned the strange legislation.
Right.
We have the complete ban on vitamins, supposedly for health reasons, maybe to eliminate self-medication or something.
But at the same time.
But simultaneously, the recreational drug ecstasy is completely legal. It even appears casually listed on a restaurant's dessert menu in Ibiza.
I have to push back on that. What does that policy contradiction tell us about the EZ's priorities? I mean, are they trying to control longevity, or is this a form of soft social control?
That's a fantastic question.
If you restrict health supplements, but you encourage chemically mediated happiness, it suggests the EZ leadership prefers a docile, happy, but ultimately controlled population.
Rather than a genuinely long-lived and healthy one.
Exactly.
That's a powerful insight. The easy society seems to favor instant, manageable consumer satisfaction. A quick fix over the long-term project of individual health and resilience.
And this internal oddity is then compounded by this massive external pressure, the geopolitical pressure cooker that's brewing between the U.S. and the EZ.
And the actual conflict starts in North Africa. The collapse of old regimes there creates this massive, destabilizing power vacuum right on the EZ's southern border.
So for the Eurozone, the threat is immediate. It's existential.
It really is. They are primarily concerned with two things. One, managing the resulting refugee crisis, and two, making sure that no one is setting off ABC weapons.
Wait, just for the listener, that's atomic, biological, or chemical.
That's the one. The trio of non-conventional mass destruction. A nightmare scenario for them.
But the U.S. sees this collapse purely as an economic opportunity, which is what makes the conflict so modern.
Completely. They view North Africa as a whole new market, and crucially, a strategically vital access point connecting Africa, the Mideast, and Southern Europe.
It's all about market share and forward basing.
So while both zones deploy peacekeeping forces, the reality is they are actively competing. They're establishing forward operating positions. Both sides know that whoever initiates and solidifies control over this newly opened region gains the definitive long-term geopolitical and economic advantage.
We get these fantastic, almost satirical glimpses of this brewing tension in the news snippets.
Oh, they're great.
You have news anchors just talking over a White House spokesman who is, for some reason, dressed in a T-shirt and jeans.
It just signals this chaotic, media-driven political culture. It's all about the soundbite.
And the military hardware is just bizarre. You have gleaming chrome, tortoiseshell tanks with easy flags seen rolling through these ancient streets. The technology is futuristic, but the political structure feels fragmented and sloppy.
And this brings us directly to the world of espionage, which is where the tree battle is being fought.
Of course.
This kind of volatility requires an extremely capable yet discreet operator.
Yeah.
Which introduces us to Jonah Cosgrove. He is the head of the British Secret Service.
An ancient organization that stubbornly avoided merging completely into the vast EZ Security Service, the EZSS.
Exactly. Officially, his title is Deputy Head of the EZ Security Service. But his true, decades-long loyalty is singular.
King and country.
King and country. The sources paint him as a true survivor, 60 years in the service. He's lived through everything from, quote, the Martians to the Euro Wars.
And his worldview is so skeptical of human organization.
Profoundly. He acknowledges the existence of multiple secret organizations that believe they control the world, but he dismisses them entirely. He's got this great line where he notes that if a cabal actually ran the world, it would be a lot better run.
So what does he think is going on?
He concludes the true grand scheme must involve something alien to humanity.
Mm-hmm.
It's a belief that ironically makes him really susceptible to the massive con that's about to follow.
It's interesting that the man who believes in alien conspiracies is the one who dismisses the human ones.
Right.
But we see his old-school approach reflected in his counter-surveillance strategy. In a world of total electronic logging, Cosgrove uses an antique leather-bound atlas, which is secured with a secret society sigil, to store sensitive data.
It's the perfect analogy for his survival strategy. That physical analog book contains these clearly defined pre-superstate boundaries.
Yeah.
Why is it secure? Because as he sees it, it is more secure than any piece of electronic equipment on the planet.
It's completely off the grid.
Exactly. It requires no authentication, leaves no trace, and cannot be monitored.
Yeah.
It is the secure anachronism, and it is precisely this analog skepticism that Baskerville, the so-called time traveler, needs to overcome.
So we've established Cosgrove's deep-seated belief that the true threat is alien, or at least beyond human conspiracy. Does this belief make him more susceptible to Baskerville's time travel pitch, or more skeptical of the underlying technology? That brings us to the core of the illusion.
Well, Cosgrove is highly skeptical of human motives, but he is, at his core, a man of empirical evidence.
He needs proof.
He needs proof, and Baskerville understands this perfectly, so he presents him with the most audacious form of proof possible. Verifiable historical intervention. The central offer isn't just technology, it's the promise that the EZ will become the new lords of time, ushering in an age of unstoppable dominance.
Baskerville chooses such a classic literary setting for the proof. He takes Cosgrove on this initial trip, which Cosgrove himself specifically requested to the year 1040 by a remote Scottish loch.
And the sources really emphasize the sensory overload of the experience. It is hyper-real. Cosgrove smells the heather, he feels the damp air, and he notes the deep, profound silence of a world without mechanized transport. It's all designed to be an unforgettable, unreplicable memory.
The demonstration itself is brilliant performance art.
It really is.
They encounter two men who are later identified as Macbeth and Banquo. And Baskerville prompts Cosgrove to recite the famous prophecies from the play, fulfilling the expectation created by Shakespeare's narrative.
You know, all hail Macbeth, hail to thee, Thane of Glamis, all hail Macbeth, hail to thee, Thane of Cawdor, all hail Macbeth, that shalt be king hereafter.
But the immediate reaction from the critical spy from Cosgrove is telling. He just asks, where are the witches?
Exactly. And Baskerville immediately dismisses the notion of flawless historical accuracy. He argues that Shakespeare was merely a maker of fictions who prioritized dramatic openings over rigorous research.
Which is why the supernatural elements had to be managed.
In fact, Baskerville explicitly states that because there are no actual witches available, Cosgrove himself must understudy.
He's making Cosgrove a participant in the fiction.
He's making him complicit. It reinforces that this whole encounter is a performance managed by Baskerville, who understands that human belief often prioritizes a dramatic narrative over a scientific fact.
But the entire point of the excursion isn't the narrative, is it? It's the artifact.
That's the linchpin. Cosgrove finds an arrowhead that was dropped in the mud, which Baskerville just casually encourages him to keep. This is the core of the confidence trick.
So when Cosgrove returns, what's the first thing he does?
He immediately has the item analyzed, and the forensics confirm it. The metal and the design are consistent with an 11th century Scottish design.
So he has his proof.
He has his physical, tangible piece of evidence, and it completely bypasses any philosophical or technological skepticism Cosgrove might have. The logic is simple. If this object traveled through time, time travel must be real.
And with the proof established, Baskerville presents the non-negotiable price for this supposed better future, where humanity gets to share the machine's secrets.
And it's a steep one. The EZ must grant him immediate, unfettered access to the ultra-ray computer, the world's most powerful.
And if they refuse?
The consequence is absolute. The whole planet will be destroyed. It's the classic carrot and stick. Unimaginable power or total extinction.
The problem for Baskerville, though, is that his meticulously planned con is immediately disrupted by an unpredictable element.
The doctor.
Right. The silver briefcase that contains the genuine arrowhead and the encoded invitation card for the Athens rendezvous GPS coordinates, July 3rd, gets stolen and then returned to the police.
And this action, though it's brief, introduces total chaos and the central element of misidentification that runs through the rest of the sources.
This is where Anji Kapoor comes in. She's a sharp futures trader for MWF London Bank, and she's caught in the security sweep that results from this mess.
Let's just clarify who Anji is and why this misidentification is so important. Anji is a financial expert. Her entire professional skill set revolves around spotting trends, recognizing patterns, and predicting market failure.
So she's an expert in spotting confidence tricks on a massive scale.
Exactly. And she applies these instincts immediately to the rapidly escalating geopolitical situation.
But because of the doctor's interference in the case handover, Anji is mistaken for the CIA agent who was supposed to be tracking Cosgrove and Baskerville, a Lieutenant Commander Malady Chang.
And this is a crucial pivot point in the whole narrative. Anji is a civilian, a master of finance, and she's thrust into high-level espionage and the supposed reality of time travel.
The irony is incredible.
It is. Her financial expertise makes her uniquely qualified to spot Baskerville's true agenda, which is entirely financial, while the actual military intelligence experts are all focused on the geopolitical and technological angles.
And while Anji is busy deciding whether she should be shorting Baskerville's eventual planetary collapse, Baskerville is preparing to showcase the source of his current wealth, a technology that turns human violence into untraceable profit.
So now we understand that Baskerville isn't just a technological salesman. He's the architect of this radical economic and military model. He is a former Russian general, and he's the inventor of real-war teletroops.
Remote-controlled robotic soldiers.
Exactly. In this future, warfare is viewed as simply a logical extension of technology.
And the hardware is specifically engineered to fit different combat roles, which, when you look at it, directly reflects the differing strategies of the U.S. and the EZ forces.
It really does. You have the Class 3 units, which are described as these massive, humanoid, gorilla-like robots standing 8 feet tall.
And their use is fascinating. They're not just frontline fighters.
No, the sources note they can support collapsing buildings and act as mobile bridges in disaster zones. This fits perfectly with the EZ's immediate concern in North Africa: stability, refugee management, and infrastructure protection.
It's a humanitarian, or at least a preservation-focused approach.
Right. Now contrast that with the Class 2 vehicles.
These are the shiny, egg-shaped hover tanks we see rolling through the streets on the news.
Those are the ones. They are offensive, frontline combat units designed for rapid deployment and strategic dominance. And this aligns perfectly with the U.S. motivation.
Accessing a whole new market and securing control through overwhelming force, the hardware tells the whole strategic story.
It does. And this military-industrial complex is completely agnostic about politics. Real War is a Russian corporation, and Baskerville happily sells to both U.S. and EZ forces. He's capitalizing on the conflict he's helping to exacerbate.
He explicitly breaks down the global economy's dark side, and he notes this shift in profitability. The four biggest industries are arms dealing, illegal narcotics, illegal arms dealing, and the oil trade.
And he observes that the illegal arms and oil trades are in a steady decline, which makes legitimate arms manufacturing the new, guaranteed source of immense wealth.
But the true genius, and the disturbing ethical pivot, is the business model of the teletroops.
This is where it gets really dark. Baskerville made a key insight into human nature. Young men still crave the thrill of combat, but they absolutely don't want to die.
And they were already spending hours playing computer games that simulated war with zero personal risk.
Baskerville just merged the two realities. Real war teletroops are cheap, expendable, and, crucially, operated by computer gamers.
And initially, these operators pay for the privilege of fighting real wars?
They do. They pay to play, where the stakes are zero for them. Later, they get paid for their expertise, which turns warfare into this personalized, interactive revenue stream.
It becomes the ultimate reality TV show for the highest stakes imaginable, but the participants are completely detached.
And that psychological detachment leads to a profound ethical breakdown. The sources note that the operators relish going after human targets. Baskerville actually had to draft in or persuade operators to fight opposing robot armies because the thrill of killing other humans remotely was the primary motivation.
Wait, the sources suggest these are just gamers, not trained soldiers. Does this imply a fundamental shift in human morality, or is it just the ultimate consequence of outsourced risk and detachment?
I think it's the latter.
When there is zero consequence for the person pulling the trigger, the threshold for violence clearly evaporates.
It's the ultimate consequence of removing accountability. The system is designed to reward lethal efficiency without any ethical cost. And this real war empire is what gives Baskerville his apparent invincibility to surveillance.
This is the true Blinkist takeaway for the learner. How does he maintain an empire, this vast supplying technology to two rival superstates, in a world where GPS trackers and IFEC log every movement?
He deliberately operates outside the data economy.
What does that even mean?
He uses black accountancy. In a world where every square centimeter and every human being is logged, Baskerville has no electronic presence, no IFE's account, no traceable email. He even has fake death records. His total untraceability in this monitored age is his perfect armor against the EZSS and the CIA.
But maintaining that must be incredibly difficult. For real war to function shipping massive guerrilla-like robots and hover tanks across the globe, he has to rely on non-digital, untraceable human networks.
Think of the logistics.
Exactly. Vast amounts of physical cash needed for couriers, bribery, raw material acquisition, all of it moving through a shadow economy built entirely on trust and physical exchanges, circumventing the very systems like IFC that he plans to eventually master.
That difficulty is the cost of invisibility. And that's why he needs the IFA system eventually, not for the money, but to replace that risky human-dependent shadow network with absolute digital control.
Speaking of digital control, let's introduce the actual CIA threat, Lieutenant Commander Melody Chang.
Right, she's USAF and a CIA operative who is cracking Cosgrove in the briefcase, and she realizes something far darker is at play than a mere geopolitical squabble.
And she immediately runs into trouble. She narrowly escapes an attack on her car that killed her associate, Garvin.
And she suspects the perpetrator was a mysterious, evil-looking, invisible predator. This is our first clue to the alien incursion, the early movements of the On-Ear race.
Melody's mission comes directly from the Octagon, on the president's direct authority: acquire or destroy whatever Baskerville is offering the EZ in Athens.
And she tracks a surveillance device that was planted by the doctor, which leads her directly to the rendezvous point, ready to navigate these US-EZ tensions while facing both human and unknown alien threats.
The stage is perfectly set, Baskerville is ready to showcase his time machine and collect his price. But that price is far higher than anyone imagined, and the proof is built on the most ruthless of psychological operations. Okay, here's where we reveal Baskerville's methods. His apparent knowledge of the future doesn't come from a time machine at all.
No, it's from calculated influence, manipulation, and just cold-blooded murder. The entire system of proof relies on him fixing events and then framing them as prophecy.
He had to satisfy the skepticism of the easy elite, and he used 3 specific, publicly verifiable events to prove his unique insight.
Let's break down the execution of these prophecies, because it's brilliant in a terrifying way.
Prophecy number 1, the soccer match.
Right. He correctly predicted the Europe versus Brazil match score, the scorers, and the time. This required direct, low-level corruption. He just fixed the game at a professional level. It proves his capability, but it doesn't require any real destruction.
Then he escalates. Prophecy 2, celebrity death.
Actress Bermuda Atkins died suddenly from a previously unsuspected virus. And Baskerville admits this was achieved not by predicting the virus, but by paying more attention to biosecurity.
Which implies a surgical biological assassination.
Exactly. Masked as natural causes. He's escalating the stakes from corruption to calculated murder.
And then Prophecy 3, the Athens tidal wave. This was the definitive, terrifying proof predicted for midday at the exact moment of their initial meeting.
This was manufactured state-level horror. Baskerville admitted placing a large bomb on the seabed. It dislodged just the right amount of material to create a localized tidal wave, and just enough to bury all the evidence.
Let's just pause on the sheer psychological operation of that tidal wave. This disaster killed thousands of people, it left 1 million homeless, and it served no purpose other than validating a single prediction.
It is the ultimate display of ruthlessness, using mass murder as a footnote to a business deal. And the efficiency of the bomb burying its own evidence is just terrifyingly practical.
And the time machine itself, it's revealed to be just as fake.
A complete sham. When Anji, who is still under the pretense of being Malady, is taken for a trip to Brussels in 2001, the entire experience is a chemically induced high-tech simulation and conditioning exercise. The machine is literally just a box of blinking lights.
The simulation is chemically induced, you said. How?
It's a complex cocktail that leaves no trace left for forensics. It is designed to create a synthetic but deeply compelling memory. The real functional component of the simulation device is actually suitcase-sized.
And it's brilliantly disguised inside a silver case that looks like a coffee machine.
Exactly.
The con works perfectly on humans, but it fails on Anji.
Because she is an experienced time traveler, thanks to the doctor's previous interventions. Her mind resists the simulation. She sees herself standing with her boyfriend Dave, but the visual perspective is flawed. She sees landmarks like the atomium and the mannequin Piz from impossible angles simultaneously. Her brain is just rejecting the stagecraft.
And the experience ends with the pavement rolling back to reveal a hangar below, confirming that the past she was witnessing was merely a meticulously constructed stage set in the present day.
Baskerville is revealed as a master of illusion, using spectacle and chemistry to convince the most powerful people on Earth that reality has changed.
So we know the time machine is fake, and we know he's already the richest man on Earth thanks to real war. What is the ultimate prize that required killing thousands and setting up this massive con? It's not money in the bank.
No, it's total control over the flow of money.
Precisely. His goal is complete systemic access to the International Financial Exchange Computer, or IFSC, via the EZ's Ultra computer located in Brussels.
And we need to clearly define the relationship between these two systems.
Let's break down the jargon for the listener. IFSC is the actual financial system. It's the vast river of capital controlling every single electronic financial transaction everywhere that counts.
If you control IFA, you control the world's economy.
But IFE is protected.
It is. And Ultra is the world's most powerful computer, secured deep in an underground bunker below the European Secret Service headquarters in Brussels. Think of Ultra as the fortified gate, or the security system, to the IFE river.
So Baskerville doesn't need to hack the money system itself. He just needs the security gateway.
Right. He needs Ultra to monitor, filter, and manipulate that flow of capital, which President Mather described as looking like a living organism.
By gaining access to Ultra, Baskerville can monitor every single competitor, every government, every corporation. He wouldn't need his risky black accountancy anymore. He could replace the system itself, becoming the world's untraceable financial master, effectively controlling the system from the inside out.
But just as he's about to achieve this ultimate digital takeover, The true alien-to-humanity threat that Cosgrove warned about finally arrives, and it completely disrupts the financial game.
Enter the Onier race. These are massive, terrifying, rhino-like aliens from outside the galaxy who have harnessed miniature black holes for power.
That detail alone, miniature black holes for energy, tells you the sheer scope of their technological sophistication.
They're physically imposing, wide as they are, tall, hunched, with stubby legs and horns, and they primarily rely on their sense of smell.
Yet their technology is startlingly elegant. Their ships are these curved blue porcelain structures, crisscrossed with glass corridors built by 8-foot rhinos with ham-sized hands. It's an amazing image.
And their mission is purely technological. They are obsessed with acquiring time travel technology. They believe they are owed it after millennia of searching across the universe.
And they are ruthless. They are willing to tear off human heads and raise cities to achieve their goal.
And Baskerville had unwittingly drawn them to Earth by staging his time travel con.
He did. He lures President Mather from the U.S. and Cosgrove from the EZ to Istanbul, setting them up to compete for his fake time machine. The goal was to force the EZ to give him ultra-ray access before the U.S. could intervene.
But the Oniers intervene first, they teleport into the hotel suite, and the violence is instant and terrifying.
Their ray guns fire a white line of light that just bisects Mather's bodyguard. And the sheer physical durability of the creatures is immense. Human punches are completely useless against them.
The situation is immediately complicated by the Oniers' flawed data. They are searching for the time travelers, but they confuse Fitz, who had been exposed to the TARDIS's time energy, for the Doctor.
Right. The data they possess is critically wrong. It suggests the Doctor only has one heart, rather than two, a huge mistake.
They also target Anji because she has done a significant amount of time travel, and they even try to tear open her handbag looking for her phone, believing it might be a technological component.
The aliens are relying on outdated or distorted intelligence about human time travelers, and that becomes their critical weakness.
During the chaos, Melody Chang sees an opportunity to clarify her position.
She reveals her true identity as a CIA agent to Baskerville, hoping to get a better deal in the face of the alien threat.
However, Anji takes this moment to pull the ultimate reverse con. She tells Baskerville she is not Melody Chang, but Anji Kapoor, a futures trader who lied to him earlier.
Her goal is to create chaos and uncertainty, keeping herself flexible in the face of two overwhelming threats, Baskerville and the Oniers.
Meanwhile, Fitz is aboard the Onier ship, and realizing the aliens are dedicating vast resources to tracking time displacement and knowing their data on the Doctor is flawed, he executes a brilliant countermaneuver.
He plays on their rigidity. He tricks the deputy leader into believing that if they truly want to find the source of time travel, they must dedicate all their resources to tracking time displacement across the galaxy.
Buying Earth critical time to deal with Baskerville.
It's a technological sleight of hand using the aliens' own flawed intelligence against them.
And the chaos forces a surprising alliance. The two geopolitical rivals, President Mather and Cosgrove, secretly agree to pool resources to defeat Baskerville and afterwards share the time travel technology.
And Cosgrove reveals the final true prophecy that Baskerville used to force compliance.
Prophecy 4, the Toronto atomic device. A civil nuclear device intended for clearing the harbor is set to detonate.
And Mather, now privy to this information, alerts Canadian authorities for an immediate large-scale evacuation. This secret human alliance is the first real act of cooperation in this entire monitored world.
But Baskerville is still free, and he is still controlling an army of robots. So where does he go when the entire electronically monitored world is looking for him?
He flees to a stronghold, a secret real war manufacturing base hidden deep on the Russian steppes. This base is intentionally data invisible and completely unmonitored. It's a physical black hole in the world's surveillance network.
The fortress built on his black accountancy.
Exactly. And he attempts to maintain control of his vast robot army, the Class 2 hover tanks and Class 3 humanoids, remotely. He's using the repurposed co-pilot controls of the Concorde, accessing the robots via a specific backdoor code he built into the real war operating system.
But he doesn't keep control for long?
Not at all. Cosgrove escapes the Concorde and immediately takes over the real war control booth inside the factory. And this is Cosgrove's moment of ultimate ruthless ambition.
He instantly repurposes the robot army for easy interests, using the sophisticated technology against his former allies.
But he doesn't stop there. To secure the base and its assets for the EZ, he systematically murders his own mercenary security forces and the real war research scientists.
He sees time travel and this army as the ultimate combination for endless victory for the EZ, and specifically for king and country.
Meanwhile, the Doctor and Malady Chang are in Toronto, racing to avert Prophecy 4. They are using the genuine time machine that was recovered from the Onirs, a small silver cylinder, Roja's device, that recharges by tapping into any energy source.
So they jump to the warehouse where the car-sized nuclear device is located.
And Malady engages Cosgrove's remotely controlled robots, who had just executed the human guards protecting the warehouse. While she provides a crucial distraction against the heavy Class 3 units, the Doctor focuses on the device itself.
Using his sonic screwdriver to defuse the massive bomb.
Right, but the time constraint is immense. The Doctor needs to stop the bomb and get to the control center. His master stroke is a technological shortcut. He salvages a circuit from a defeated robot's wrist and couples it with a small time machine cylinder.
What does that do?
It allows them to teleport instantly along the carrier wave that Cosgrove is using to command the robots, a direct line to Baskerville's remote control booth.
Which leads to the final frantic confrontation. Anji, Fitz, and the Doctor arrive at the factory control room. They find Baskerville's laptop and discover the partial IFC transaction.
The massive global financial hack is incomplete, and Anji, the futures trader, immediately recognizes the critical failure. The transfer requires one final specific ISE number to finish.
Baskerville's on the verge of becoming the world's financial master.
He is. And the Doctor, realizing the catastrophic stakes, performs the most absurd and high-risk financial stunt imaginable. He pulls out a bank card from an account he accidentally opened in Athens. He taps the number into the computer.
And diverts the colossal, unfinished global financial transaction.
In that moment, the entire global economy, the whole electronic flow of capital controlled by IFEO, is temporarily run through his bank account.
The absurdity is incredible. The most powerful, complex financial system on Earth is briefly bottlenecked through a single, personal, accidental bank account.
And this diversion stops the hack and prevents a total financial collapse.
But the chaos isn't over.
Not yet. 6 fully armed honors teleport into the factory on the cliff edge. They use a translator Baskerville's own voice synthesized from a retrieved communicator to demand the genuine time machine.
And the ultimate unmasking happens here. The Honors identify Mather's small cylinder, Roja's device, as the genuine time travel technology.
Which proves Baskerville's coffee machine was a complete sham. Baskerville is now revealed as not only a con artist to the humans, but a massive disappointment to the aliens.
And Fitz, capitalizing on the On-Air's shock and rigidity, executes his final trick.
He suggests Baskerville destroyed their ship, which fuels their rage. The Honors capture Baskerville, teleporting him across galaxies for trial, citing him as the most dangerous human being alive for using time travel as a mechanism for deception rather than science.
The final tragic loose end is Cosgrove. He's secured but drugged by the Doctor, convinced he's a reporter on the USS Delaware. But in a brief moment of clarity, or maybe just instinct, he sees the genuine time machine cylinder falling off the hundreds of feet high cliff during the alien departure.
And Cosgrove, blinded by his 60 years of dedication to king and country and his absolute ambition to seize destiny, leaps off the cliff, grabbing the cylinder midair. He hits the jagged rocks far below.
It's the final chilling confirmation that even with a functioning time machine in hand, the ultimate tool of non-destiny human fate and personal ambition can be utterly absolute and final.
What an unbelievable journey. We started with a geopolitical standoff, and we ended with rhino aliens capturing the world's richest man and the world economy running on a single bank account.
The immediate aftermath is all damage control. Baskerville is gone. The Honors are gone, and the Doctor insists to Mather and Malady that time travel is still science fiction.
He emphasizes that the big lie, the claim to offer the impossible, is precisely why Baskerville's con worked so well. It was too absurd to be questioned as a simple financial grab.
And Mather and Malady, facing the aftermath of a near-total financial and nuclear catastrophe, agree to use Cosgrove as the fall guy for the rogue activity and the factory takeover.
So the U.S. and EZ, narrowly saved from self-destruction, must now focus on shared existence, recognizing that an internal human conspiracy was a greater threat than any external rogue state ever was.
Let's synthesize the true knowledge nuggets here for you, the learner. The entire architecture of Baskerville's power rested on a singular principle: invisibility.
In a world where every single electronic transaction, GPS coordinate, and syllable is logged, his lack of an electronic presence, no I2C, no traceable communication, a deliberately managed cash-only supply chain made him fundamentally untraceable by the most advanced security systems on the planet.
The core danger wasn't the real war robots. It was a powerful individual weaponizing information asymmetry. Baskerville used simulation, manufactured tragedy, and financial infrastructure against a system that was designed to protect itself via data saturation.
And the advanced technology completely failed to protect the world from fundamental, old-fashioned human ambition and greed.
This ties back to his ultimate political theory, which he shared with Anji.
Right. Baskerville believed that conspiracy theories were a myth created by those who didn't want citizens to realize there's no one flying the plane. He saw the world as being run by default, with accountability being a total illusion.
So his goal wasn't political power, but total centralized control over the IFFC system to replace that rudderless default with his own untraceable mastery.
And so wrap up this deep dive, a terrifying vision of a near future where information is absolute, but control is reserved only for the invisible. The most protected infrastructure in the world, global banking, was undone not by a super hacker, but by a man who insisted on dealing in cash and lies.
Our provocative thought for you to consider is this. In a future where every electronic action is monitored and logged, the most powerful and dangerous individual was the one who managed to successfully adopt the big lie and remain completely off the grid. If truth is only what can be tracked and digitized, what value, what ultimate power remains in a life lived without a single electronic trace? Could achieving total invisibility be the definitive form of power in the electronically monitored age?